Okay, so this is going to be a review on the Benchmade Model 710. This model here from Benchmade has been around for quite a while. In fact, it was the first Benchmade knife to ever utilize the Axis lock. So that little piece of history behind it makes it, I think, a really cool folder. It's basically the original Axis locking design, and the fact that Benchmade uses the Axis lock pretty extensively throughout their knife lineup now, I think that's a really cool feature. It is a McHenry and Williams design. Again, it was introduced a number of years ago now, but it's not out of production yet for a good reason, because it is an awesome blade. Really awesome for EDC through my experiences with it. And I'm going to start off by doing some size comparisons here with a few other of my blades I have lying around, to show you guys a pretty cool, neat little feature about this Benchmade 710. So let's get started with the comparisons. Here is a Spyderco Police 3G, and you can see obviously that the Police is a much longer knife in terms of just overall length. However, if you compare the cutting edge of both these knives, the 710 actually has about the exact same cutting edge right there. So you can see that right there. Second knife is the Military. Again, another Spyderco knife. You can see how much longer the handle is there. However, once again, if you compare the cutting edge, the 710 actually has quite a bit more, almost 1/4 of an inch, if not a little bit more. And lastly, last comparison for now, is the Zero Tolerance Model 560. It's a little bit of a beefier knife, you can just tell by the size of the handle. But once again, the cutting edge is slightly longer on the Benchmade 710. So right there you can see a very cool feature of this knife is the fact that it packs a lot of cutting edge for the size handle you actually have to carry. So very cool. I like that feature quite a bit. I'll give you some specs now in number form. The overall length is 8.8 inches. The blade length is just under 4 inches at 3.9 inches. The handle length is 4.9 inches. The blade thickness is about 3 millimeters at 0.115 inches. And the overall weight is 4.5 ounces. So again, you get almost a 4-inch blade with only about a 4.9 inch handle. So very cool how they managed to fit all that cutting edge into this size package. Another really cool thing is that when it's closed, it's pretty slim in this dimension. So when you slip it into your pocket, you still have room to put anything else like a phone or a wallet, and still manage to slide your hand into the pocket fairly easily, which I really like. Just again, for a quick comparison, you can see how much thinner it is width-wise than the 560. So if you want, around a 4-inch blade for EDC, but you find that the handles of the other knives I showed are a little bit too big, definitely look into the 710. It's a great option and it performs really well. So let's get started with the blade here. As you can see, mine is satin finish plain edge. It is available in black coated and serrated versions if that's your preference. Okay, you got your Benchmade logo up top, obviously, model 710. Does have a small recurve towards the back here. I have mentioned before in my videos, I'm not a huge fan of recurve just because I use bench stones to sharpen up my knives, but I'm pretty sure for many people that won't be a problem. You do have a swedge up top. Comes to a pretty nice point. It still has adequate strength, but it's definitely really easy to penetrate into let's say cardboard or whatever you're cutting, just to get it started. I like that quite a bit. Overall blade shape actually looks really appealing. I'm a big fan of this blade shape. It's pretty thin too, kind of matching the rest of the knife. And it is flat ground from about 2/3 of the way up. Again, it is a McHenry and Williams design. And it is labeled D2 because that is the blade steel. Not my all-time favorite blade steel, but it's definitely respectable. D2, as long as you take care of it, will serve you really well. It has good edge retention, and so I'm quite a big fan of it. It works well for EDC. Okay, you got ambidextrous thumb studs, and as usual with most, if not all, axis folding knives, the entire knife is fully ambidextrous. The axis lock is obviously exposed on both sides for left and right-handed people. Thumb studs, ambidextrous, and the clip can be reversed onto the other side. So if you're a lefty, obviously you probably like this quite a bit. The thumb studs do come in contact with the handle when it's closed, which isn't actually a big deal. I have heard people kind of say it's difficult to get your thumb in there to get it out, but I find if you kind of follow this natural curve of the handle with your thumb, you hit the thumb stud almost immediately and can really get it to fly out fairly easily. So it's not a huge deal. Maybe if you have really big sausage fingers or something, might be a little bit more difficult, but I haven't found it to be a huge problem at all. Again, it is an axis locking knife, the original one, which I think is really, really cool. It's nothing new to us anymore. I mean, Benchmade has been using the axis lock for a long, long time. Great lock. Obviously, again, it is fully ambidextrous, and I really like it. It's pretty sick. You do have full stainless steel liners, and they're pretty darn thin, or sorry, not thin, thick. Almost, I'd say a little bit over 1.5 millimeters. Now, I didn't take calipers to it or anything, but they're pretty darn beefy, and I actually really like that. It actually makes the knife really, really nice and solid. There's almost no blade play. Actually, there is none side to side. Up and down there is a tiny bit, but with axis locking knives, many people will know that there is sometimes a tiny, tiny bit of blade play, but it's really nothing to worry about, and you don't even notice it when you're using the knife. But awesome design. I really like that. You do have a full back spacer. It is Zytel. I think it gives the knife a nice complete look. Torque screw construction throughout, as per usual. The liners are drilled out. Hopefully you can see that. You can see one hole right there to reduce some weight. Handle scales are G10. They do have a little bit of a design cut into them there. Kind of gives you a nice little feature on the handle. Texture is just kind of like your regular peel ply. Nothing too exciting going on there. Again, the pocket clip is able to go onto the other side for left-handed carry. Obviously, just take out the 3 little torque screws, flip it around, and you're good to go. The Benchmade clip here is just a regular Benchmade design. It was black coated when I got the knife originally, but you can see I removed the black coating, and I think it looks pretty nice. Kind of matches the satin finish blade fairly well. And this clip actually is pretty simple design again, but it works really, really nicely for EDC. It holds into your pocket, perfectly. So no complaints on the pocket clip. It does have a lanyard hole there, if you're a lanyard kind of guy. See that right there? Fairly thin in this dimension there. So again, it is a very, very easy knife to carry, considering the size of the blade at 3.9 inches. And that is basically it. The Benchmade Model 710. Awesome knife. The MSRP is $175 for the satin finished version. Obviously, you won't really have to pay that much. I think I got mine for around $135 if I remember correctly, but it's been a long, long time since I've got this. Anyway, awesome knife here if you're looking for a larger EDC, the Benchmade Model 710.